and libertarians don't.
Oh, I'm gonna.
So I started going on gab.ai and post my video, the previous video we did about the Pittsburgh shooting.
Yes. Another startup company from another industry gets screwed over by regulatory capture, and the statists blame the free market, and along with the corporatists with their political elites themselves, advocate for increasing government regulation on the said industry in response. It's a story as old as time itself, and one which I've made 2 videos on. 3 if you count my response to Sargon's response to the former. Now, the reason that I mention this is that libertarians have previously clashed with the skeptosphere before regarding government influence over social media. In fact, that's not the focus of today's video, as I've already thoroughly covered the skeptic argument for social media regulation in my 3 videos on the subject, links to which will be located in the description for anyone who wants to see them. Well, here we are 2 months later after Alex Jones was deplatformed, and the skeptics are not only making the same arguments they did previously, but instead of making their case, they've decided to pull a page right out of the political propagandist mainstream playbook. Just hear this for yourself.
If you don't like the censorship that's been happening on big tech, just build your own platform. I'm sure social justice warriors, Silicon Valley, and the mainstream media will leave you alone once you have your own corner of the internet, right? The libertarian free market argument has sadly been proven long ago to be nothing but a pipe dream at this point.
That's the lolbertarian argument that says that they should be able to disable anyone's economic transactions on the internet just because. Don't fucking do it, okay?
Yes, this is really the level that the skeptics have sunk to. Just ignore all the ample evidence that your dissenters provide, such as the fact that Facebook and Twitter are subsidized by the US government more than what they actually profit on the market, that all of these international platforms are currently abiding by government regulations from each country in the world, which make this industry that's already hostile to competition even more so, that these companies are on record taking orders on which users to censor from government-funded think tanks which hail from both the so-called left and right of the spectrum, that politicians on all sides of the spectrum, along with the social media companies, are promoting regulation, which would have the FCC nationalize social media and criminalize people who host content that the FCC deems to be unfair, basically an attempt to recreate the fairness doctrine, but for the internet. They're just going to resort to empty claims with leading rhetoric that misrepresent their opponent's arguments and are outright fucking lies, and they know that they're not true, because at their core, skeptics are a bunch of pseudo-intellectuals who everyone only likes because they make content attacking SJWs. Once they start getting above the low-hanging fruit, they start to shrivel up and collapse into themselves. Like how both Computing Forever and Sargon argue that decentralization is needed to stop social media censorship, while also claiming that we need government regulation to stop this problem within the exact same video.
There are only 1 or 2 solutions to this problem. The first is for a full-scale antitrust investigation by government, and so long as they continue to be reliant on third-party hosting providers, this kind of stuff will continue to happen to them over and over. It's time that new technologies like DAT websites, decentralized blockchain systems, and peer-to-peer networks were used to avoid these kinds of shutdowns.
I mean, it's clearly not a free market, and all of this is demonstrably happening because of the state, but that's okay. We're just going to say that the internet is functioning under a libertarian free market, and that the government is in no way involved here. These are for-profit entities, and they're just making their own decisions without any outside influences. Those damn monopolies with their competition, those libertarians, they just like what's happening right now. They don't have any solutions. It's not like there are already fully decentralized competitors like DTube or Steemit, which can't be shut down or regulated off the internet, and it's not like libertarians are putting their money where their mouths are and creating new network protocols like FNet or Skywire, which allow you to connect to the internet without even having an IP address or needing an internet service provider. At this point, I am 100% convinced that at least Sargon is controlled opposition. There was a time when he was an independent content creator, but he's hit pretty much all of the points on the checklist for being a political activist. He uses empty and baseless rhetoric to respond to or articulate ideas which he doesn't have a firm base in doing so. His recent activity in UK politics, as well as his political connections in the US, his answer for everything being that state regulation is necessary even when the conclusion doesn't follow from the premise or substance of his argument. I don't have any evidence to suspect that Computing Forever or any of the other skeptic channels are shills, at least the bigger ones, so I won't comment on them here. Perhaps they're just being misguided by the Godfather, but regardless, they're reaching the exact same cognitively dissonant conclusions. Anyway, this was a bit of a short video, just something I needed to get off my chest, but if you liked it, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.